Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of our F1 2017 career mode. And right at the beginning of this episode we need to focus on our gearboxes. It's already at 64% and very likely to develop faults, and we're only 5 races into using it. Not even 5, only 4. After this race it's going to be 5, and it's likely going to be way above 70%. But in FP1 it takes us a couple of goes to fully purple the track acclimatization program, and then we also do the fuel saving program, as the whole race, or almost the whole race, will be set in intermediate conditions. But if you can see at the bottom right, we have actually developed a gearbox fault already, and this is actually a pretty nasty one because it takes the gearbox a full about 2 seconds to change gear now because of that fault. So you see it changes gear quite a lot slower. Like, I'm pressing it very frantically and it's only changing gear whenever it wants to, basically. But the problem does improve before the end of FP1, and we managed to get a tyre wear program in there. In FP2 we do the race strategy program and we get a purple on that, obviously. We also do another one on on another compound of tyre, because that would get us the informed strategy team objective. And in FP3, as always, we do the qualifying pace program. But in qualifying, I made a massive error, as I forgot to change the ICE, which was very worn. I forgot to change it before qualifying. So we change it in the qualifying menu, and the repairs don't allow us to put a lap in, basically. So we're going to be starting last with no laps put in Q1.
Keep your eyes open on the run to turn 1 and keep it clean. We want to come out in one piece. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Jeff. So this is our second intermediate race in a row. Of course, Russia was set in intermediate conditions, and I do recommend watching that one. That was quite a cracker. But it's going to be intermediate hard, judging from the weather, because it will dry up right in the middle of the race. But we build the lights up to 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. From last position is actually a pretty dreadful start. We only manage to pull alongside with Pascal Verlaine before our Honda engine makes us drop back from the 2 Saubers. We go for a very big dive bomb into turn 1. We're side by side with our teammate Fernando Alonso for 17th position. Through turn 3 we go, still side by side, and we're slowly going to run wide to close off Fernando's line, basically, so he has to peel in behind us. So P17 after turn 3, and into sector 1 we go, looking up the inside of Sergio Perez, actually, but we have to steer out of that one as that door was closing very quickly. So P17, I wonder if we can make any move into turn 5. Yes, we can, up the inside of Perez and Magnussen, it looks like it will be. So that is P15 for the time being, but Julian Palmer is in front of us, and you know, Palmer isn't the fastest of drivers and he isn't in the fastest of cars, so we should be able to pick him off, especially with how slow the AI are on the opening lap. So we have the slipstream coming into turn 10, and the AI are usually very early on the brakes when they're behind someone, and yep, it is us up into P14. So very good opening lap, gaining 6 positions, and on lap 2 we are behind Carlos Sainz, the homeboy for this race. Into turn 10 we go up his inside, and that is job done. So that is 7 positions made up for us in the opening 7 laps. So very good opening few laps for us. So but the safety car is called out as Valtteri Bottas retires from the Grand Prix. So the safety car is called out on lap 4, and that is actually very perfect timing for us, as our gearbox was developing the same fault in the race that we had in FP1. So who knows what would have happened if the safety car wasn't called out when it was. Maybe we would have dropped back to last, maybe. But on the restart we're pulling alongside with Romain Grosjean, trying to overtake him as soon as possible. And we're just waiting to go green, and it goes green at the perfect time for us. We go to the inside of Romain Grosjean. There's a little bit of contact, and he actually runs us wide onto the rumble strip, coming into the final corner. But that is P11, and there is actually a very big gap to to Daniel Kvyat because of the contact that we made, but we closed that gap in 2 laps. And coming into turn 4, we take a very wide line to get us a very, very good exit. And we get a much better exit than Daniel Kvyat as we run into turn 7. We go up his inside, and that is a very, very nice move made in a very unorthodox place on the track. And we're going to try and do the same thing to Esteban Ocon for P9, but we just about can't outrun that Mercedes coming into that corner. However, we do get a better run on him out of turn 8, and we go up his inside into the blind right-hander at turn 9, and that is P9 for us. Made at a very, very scary part of the track. And just a lap later, we are closing in on Lance Stroll, and we make a very, very late move on him into turn 10, when we're actually going to run wide, and we're going to lose the back end on the rumble strip, or on the runoff area even. But that is P8, I think it was, ours for the taking. But on lap 14, we are the last person to stay out on the inters. You can see we're actually leading the race from Sebastian Vettel, so we have actually led a lap in this Spanish Grand Prix. And Vettel trying to make a move on us there, but Kimi Raikkonen actually gets him through turn 2. Kimi Raikkonen's trying to get us now through turn 10. We are very, very late on the brakes, and Kimi Raikkonen pulls off a very, very nice switchback on us, and that demotes us to P2. So we call that a day on those intermediate tyres, and we're gonna peel into the pits for another set of inters. We tried not to make it intermediate hard, but unfortunately it's going to have to be that, as those intermediates will definitely not have lasted till the dry period. It's a very, very nice stop from the McLaren boys, and it is a very nice, very nicely timed clutch release from us. That was actually very, very, very quick from us. But we will come out behind Daniel Kvyat, unfortunately, and alongside with Lance Stroll. However, he locks up into turn 1, and he actually is collected by Esteban Ocon coming back onto the track. So that is his race basically ruined, but he has to go ahead and ruin Carlos Sainz's race as well. So the home man, unfortunately, his race is ruined by Lance Stroll, who just drives out into the track for no reason. But on lap 19, with just over 10 laps to go, we will peel into the pits for the hard tyres, and that will be the last stop that we make this Grand Prix. You can see that we have closed up to Daniel Kvyat quite a lot. We peel into the pits. What will it be from our McLaren boys? It is a very, very nice stop and a very, very nice clutch release from us. Once again, we are getting much, much better at those, I have to admit. We have closed up very slightly to Daniel Kvyat through those pit stops, and you can see we are absolutely wringing this McLaren's neck trying to close up to that Toro Rosso. We're using up all of the track, and we're pushing the car very, very hard, taking very, very high cornering speeds. And with 10 laps to go, we have actually entered Daniel Kvyat's DRS range, so that is very, very good progress for us, and we're actually closing up to him. So these new engine upgrades that have come to us in this Grand Prix are actually they're actually doing bits for us, as we're managing to close up to Toro Rosso's quite unbelievably. But on lap 27, we're going to be closing up quite a lot on Daniel Kvyat. We move to the inside of the Toro Rosso, and up the inside we go into turn 1, and that is P7, ours for the taking in this Grand Prix on lap 27. However, just a lap later, Kvyat will have the DRS on us. He pulls to the inside. No, he won't, because we go very, very defensive around the outside. Daniel Kvyat tries to go. It's side by side through 2 and 3. Very, very close racing. You could fit a needle in between our two cars, but we just about hold off Daniel Kvyat for another lap. And on lap 30, the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel has caught up to our little battle with Kvyat, and it's going to be 3 wide between a McLaren, a Toro Rosso, and a Ferrari. And Sebastian Vettel goes up the inside of Kvyat into turn 1, and we're just going to have to spectate this one, basically. So Vettel clears him through turn 3. and that is us down into position 9, I think that is. So Vettel gains 2 positions while we lose 2. But on lap 31, coming into turn 10, it's a very big dive bomb from us on Daniel Kvyat once again. Thank God he saw us coming there, as that would have ended very, very badly if the Russian turned in on us. But on lap 32, the chances are slowly running out for Daniel Kvyat and ourselves. He goes to the inside, and we try to defend by sending one right up his inside. It's side by side through turn 2, and Kvyat actually muscles his way through. So we are demoted down into P9 with 1 lap remaining. Although we do have the DRS and slipstream on Daniel Kvyat, we're not closing up enough to make a move into turn 1, or are we right at the end of the straight? Verline is holding up Daniel Kvyat. Verline absolutely muddles up Daniel Kvyat's first corner, and that allows us to sneak by into P8, and we just about snatch those final few points positions in on the final lap in turn 1. And that was an absolutely amazing end of the Grand Prix, from P20 up into P8 on the final lap of the race. And that was a very, very exhilarating final couple of laps. That was very, very nice battling between ourselves and Daniel Kvyat. It is 121 resource points for us from that Grand Prix, and we of course get the high ground on Fernando Alonso through that Grand Prix, as he just didn't come through the field as good as us. But Toro Rosso and Force India also absolutely love us, according to that chart. But thank you very much for watching another episode of this career mode. This was very fun. Next up is the Monaco Grand Prix. That's going to be very exciting. But thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. I've been Elite Crashy. Goodbye.